Isaiah, and Isaiah's great. Mike's got more. That's all I'm saying. I get it. I get it. You love the Pistons.
And without Isaiah and the Pistons, there is no Michael. He never been that tough to be able to.
There's no question. And they brought that up, and Mike, Mike's now what I think is silly and ridiculous about the NBA back in those days was that Michael Jordan could play for the better part of a decade and never really go on any kind of a weight training program until 2 years he gets beat up by the Pistons. He's like, you know what, screw this. I need to actually get some muscle and start to deliver the blows instead of taking them. What you could go 8 years without weight training? Are we? What happened? What are we doing out here? I have this is ridiculous. The era, the most overrated era of basketball. I hear you say, oh, they're tough. It's over. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. The lack of physical training was astonishing.
But that's because of modern medicine too, modern science. They understand now.
I'm just saying it was what it was. I mean, it allowed for a much less athletically. It didn't require as much athleticism, and that's why you can see guys play 82 game seasons the way that they could. You didn't have to do as much.
I'm asking you a simple question. It's Game 7, and you want the ball in LeBron's hand. You want the ball in Michael's hand.
When are we talking like what? The very last play?
I'm talking the game's on the line. Matter of fact,
Michael. I'm not. I mean, it's gonna be Michael's hand, of course.
Okay, you got a great point. It's Game 7. Now you got somebody who needs to stop the other person, and your life's on the line. You want Rodman, or you want somebody from this area? I can't even have a good defensive player.
I'd probably take Kawhi honestly over Rodman in that situation. Rodman's great. Rodman's great. I mean, if you're asking me, I mean, just
I'm telling you, Rodman would shut them down. I understand that they're most definitely more athletic now, but they're not as skilled and they're not as mentally tough from the 80s. And I bet you, when it's all said and done, that the era from the 80s will have more Hall of Famers than this era.
You know what? I mean, it's different eras, so I never like to compare across eras. I just think it's when someone wants to slander this era, then that's when I have to jump in because I think it's not fair to the players of this era and what's happening.
The players of this era are garbage. Collectively, you got one and two, but collectively, they don't strike no fear in my heart. I don't even watch them until the second round of the playoffs.
I mean, that's your problem. I can't. I mean, that's your decision. I don't know what to tell you. The players of this era are extremely skilled, just like there are plenty of skilled players in the previous eras. There's players of all eras that are Hall of Famers that are spectacular, that are wonderful, all that stuff. What I'm saying is the athletic need in this era. If you go back and watch those games, and I have, defense was not played until the final, I don't know, probably 6-7 minutes of most games. Playoffs, certainly. The defense, the team defense now, because of the illegal defense changes and the fact that you now can zone up and you can do other things, it's a much tougher defensive league now.
So you're saying that they play defense now?
Yes. Much more.
Good.
Much more. So.
I had to sit down. You just said that. Okay.
You got to. I go back and watch. Go back and watch.
I've seen LeBron not play defense. I've seen Carmelo take a whole career not playing.
I watched. I mean, there's any number of games you can watch that you'd like to watch in the 70s and 80s where guys played. I mean, months without defense. I mean, or passable, just sort of defense in the first three quarters. Yes, absolutely.
You think so?
Absolutely. Wow. There's no question. Wow. And the fact that you could the double teams were limited because of the illegal defense, that you had to either double all the way or not at all. Really limited what you could do, and it made it a much simplistic game, especially when it came to post play. We all saw those. We all saw those. The clear outs, post up, bing bang. I mean, time and time again.
You would have JaVale McGee than Patrick Ewing?
No, I would not.
Okay, all right. So, Pete, I done named 3 situations in which
JaVale McGee and Patrick Ewing is not a fair comparison at all. Would I rather have? Would I rather have?
Would you rather have Chris Paul, Dad, or B.J. Armstrong? Which one would you rather?
Yeah, that's what I'm. It's a ridiculous comparison.
I would have B.J. and that's not really a good comparison. I would rather have Isaiah.
Would you? It's like, would you rather have I don't know.
Make it hard for me.
Would you rather have Craig Elo or Ja Morant? I mean, that's basically what you're talking about here. So, like,
that is not.
that's a very similar level of JaVale McGee versus Patrick Ewing. Very similar in terms of their. Craig Elo's a good player. Craig Elo's a good player. John Morant's had some good games, but come on. I mean,
okay, here we go. Would you rather have, we'll say, Bill Laimbeer, who's like the original stretch 4 or 5, right?
Whoever, anybody, name anybody else. I'd rather have Bill. I'd rather have the other guy than Bill.
So you're not you letting your emotions take effect. So you're not being practiced. This dude shot 5 threes in the finals. 5 straight threes in the finals. Bill Laimbeer. Plus play defense and rebound. And you're telling me you rather have
dirty,
I don't even know
nasty, filthy player. A filthy.
So you would
filthy
have
player.
him than Karl Anthony Towns.
I'd rather have Karl Anthony Towns any day.
My goodness. And that's why.
That's why we got. Listen, we have to leave it there. We got to leave it there. You know, I respect your opinion, even if it's wrong.
the bad boys. Don't try to ever forget that.
I appreciate your willingness to defend them, though. I thought they were indefensible, but apparently not.
No, Detroit loves the bad boy.
All right, Mr. Hurd. Thank you as always. I appreciate it.
All right,
CJ.
He likes you. That's how he is with me on the phone.
That's good.
You can't reason with that. You're trying to make logical points. You can't use logic at all. This man said Patrick Ewing or JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like
that's a fair comparison.
Like we just excited about JaVale McGee like that. No.
Like everyone's been out there like, JaVale McGee is a great player. He's never gotten his due out there. What are we talking about?
He finds the most okayest players from this generation to compare with the all-time greats of his. That's how that argument goes.
It's I don't know. I appreciate it though, because I wouldn't have even thought to make that argument. So I think it's worth discussing. We just, the era is different, man. I keep telling everyone that, and that's like, with all due respect, I get it. Like, eras are going to be different, man. You can't compare them directly. Things are everything's different. Like the levels of training are different. But the blanket just disrespect given to a lot of this generation by old folks who out there talking about how everything was great when I was growing up. Everything was the best when I was growing up. There were players of every generation who would be great no matter what generation they played in. They would be just fine. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be phenomenal no matter when he played. Wilt Chamberlain would be phenomenal no matter when he played. Bill Russell would be phenomenal no matter when he played. But you have to take into account that Bill Russell was also much smaller. I mean, he was 6'9", 6'10", 220. Like, he's basically like, similar measurements and heights to like a lot of small forwards that are out there now in the NBA. I mean, you cannot deny the continual growth, the literal and figurative growth in the NBA. And he would have had to change his game a little bit. I think he would have, because he was that good. But I think he would have had to change his game. And I think if you go back and watch with a fair eye, and you go back and watch some of those games, you will see that the level of defense that was played on any given regular season night was not that great. I'm not talking about everyone wants to go back and watch the playoffs. Playoffs in every era are played at a super high level. That's the playoffs. I mean, that's what you play for. But go back and watch that, December game between the Hawks and the Bulls and see what kind of defense you were getting in that kind of a game. And I bet you most NBA games, you can always find a few exceptions no matter where you go. But most NBA games and most NBA defense now has improved. The effort level, the amount of team defense has improved tremendously. And the amount of effort that's required has improved tremendously because the speed of the game is bigger. You have to give more. I mean, it just makes sense to me, CJ. It's not meant to be a diss on the previous generations or anything like that. They would have the great players in that era would have adapted just fine, but they would have had to adapt.
Yes, absolutely. And it's whoever was coming up, whoever was doing big things when you were a child, that is the era that you defend to the death for some reason. I don't know. I can't think. I think it was Steve Kerr who said, because things don't get bigger, stronger, faster over time. That's just not how we do things. No, we do that. Steve was being sarcastic when he said it, but we get better. We get better in part because we get to watch what previous generations of players have done. You know, we get to watch what Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, we get to see how we as a basketball playing society use a player like Larry Bird. And then we get to see how you handle a player like a undersized big like Charles Barkley. And then over time, when those types of players come up, you know exactly how to use them. And then that player, because they have that foundation to stand on, does something a little bit more, a little bit extra with it over time. That's just how it is. And guess what? In 10 years, that generation of basketball players, whoever it is that is there, is going to be much better than this generation. Why? Because that's just how we progress over time. We couldn't have imagined in the 80s seeing players the size with the handles and the quickness and the shooting capability and the agility and the athleticism of a Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, we just couldn't have imagined in the 80s seeing something like that, but yet here he is. And it is in due in large part to those players in the 80s and 90s and the early 2000s and the style of play that they played. And he's gotten to see that and learn from that. The people who coached him got to see that, learn from that, perfect that, and create this. And this is much different than anything we've seen before.
No question, no question. Now, there's another thing I haven't seen before that I want to talk about when we return. I'm kind of speechless, honestly. We'll discuss that on the other side as we continue here. Peter and CJ with you on a Monday. Sports 56 mornings, Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Do you get into bed and find your mind still going? If so, try ZzzQuil Pure Z's liquid melatonin. It's made with an optimal level of melatonin for no next day grogginess. Pure Z's liquid melatonin, because sleep is a beautiful thing, at stores now.
And now, a page from the Diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions. Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Hey, everybody. Our friends at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch care about you, and they've heard from so many who really want to buy a new Chevrolet truck or car or need service or parts right now, and they are listening. GM has financing as low as 0 interest for as much as 84 months, and you could be payment-free for up to 4 months, but your safety is number one. So everybody at All-Star Chevrolet is doing everything to provide service, parts, and anything you need in the safest way possible. They can pick up and deliver your vehicle for service and even deliver parts if you want. And everything is sanitized and safe for you to visit anytime. Call for an appointment or find what you want online, and someone at All-Star will arrange a virtual test drive for a safer test behind the wheel. Doesn't matter if it's a Silverado, a Traverse, an all-new Blazer, maybe a new Suburban or Equinox. But remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Hi, this is Greg Gaston from Sports 56 Middays. During this coronavirus pandemic, many of you are spending all day at home, and we remind you that you can stay in touch and connected through Sports 56. Turn us on your radio, computer, phone, or smart speaker, and stay up to date and connected with the community. Keep practicing social distancing, and remember to wash your hands often. And hopefully, before too long, we can get back to some sort of normalcy. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay connected with Sports 56 and sports56whbq.com.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
The landscape is so beautiful at Town Village Audubon Park. Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. Looking for a great place to retire, but you still have a very active lifestyle? Then visit Town Village. Only requirements that you're 55 plus. Prices per month starting at $24.50. The Gourmet Chef welcomes you to visit our restaurant and bistro. Package includes 3 complimentary meals per day, maid service, free local transportation, monthly coffee club, theme dinner parties, lots of fun. Visit us and call Daniel or Bo at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home. Town Village Audubon Park.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
Back with you. Sports 56 Mornings, Peter and CJ with you. CJ, you in this pandemic, some folks. Now, I have to tell you that I'm mystified by people saying that they have a lot of time on their hands because between the kids and all the other stuff, I feel as though I have less time on my hands.
Peter, if you don't have kids, you have all the time in the world right now. Trust me.
So, fair enough. It's fair enough. If you have kids, then you don't. But anyway, so what are you doing with the time? What are you doing with the time? I mean, do you have to do anything? Not really. I think you're perfectly well within your rights to do nothing with that time. That's okay. I mean, take care of your mental health. That's the most important. If you feel like doing nothing, you want to just watch, every episode of the Andy Griffith Show. That's go for it. We have the technology. You can do that. However, some people spend their quarantines in different ways. And one of those different ways is Aaron Gordon of the Orlando Magic, NBA star-ish guy. Is he a star?
He's certainly not a star, Peter, now.
NBA
really good player?
NBA
good player? Better than most
notable?
players?
NBA notable?
Notable. He is certainly notable.
Okay, all right. NBA notable. And you may recall that he was famously denied, was it like 2 months ago at the dunk? I mean, it feels like a year ago. I don't know. But the dunk contest that happened, he was denied by Dwayne Wade, giving him a 9 out of 10 on what was clearly a 10 dunk, obviously. But this has still sat with him. And so this morning, he come to find out that he has released a diss track this morning.
What?
Yes. Have you heard about this?
No.
Yes, there is a diss track that he has put out 9 out of 10 with. He is. It is. You can play a little bit of. You can find it. It's. There's. I know that Worldwide Wob has posted it. I think it's clean. I listened to it. There's at one point it's not clean. We can listen to a little bit of it. But it's not great. I'll be honest with you. But the fact is that he's put a D-Wade diss track out, and complete with video. Like, it's a full-on video that I guess he did at his house, in the middle of a pandemic. He's still angry about it. Is I am including lines like 9 out of 10 cost my fam a Benz. Could have bought my fam a Benz. 9 out of 10 could have cost me an M, which I believe is either the Roman numeral for 1,000, which I don't think is what he meant. I think he meant M for million. It's not great. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not a great look, and the song is kind of just okay. And most people, to my awareness, have been properly dunking on him, ironically enough, for choosing to spend his time doing this right there. Have you found it? Have you seen it? Are you seeing it now?
I'm trying to see when it gets dirty. I got it though.
You got it. I think. I mean, like I said, you can listen to the first little bit of it. But there's a diss track, a D-Wade diss track. Let's listen to that now. See, that's okay.
9 out of 10, I'ma keep it zen. 9 out of 10, can you please fix your lens? 9 out of 10, got you playing pretend. 9 out of 10, here we go again. 9 out of 10, could've bought the fam a Benz. 9 out of 10, are you making amends? 9 out of 10, probably lost an M.
That shit ain't nothing, man, let it sink in. Used to hoop in your Converse so comfortably. Knew one day I'd be good and you'd come for me.
Yeah.
Didn't know it would make me
Knew
this
one
hungry. Looking at your judgment and everyone's wondering. Brought the heat to Windy City, did you see the damn coat?
So what do you make of it?
I don't like it at all. That's what I make of it. I don't like this at all, Peter.
I don't care. From a purely song perspective?
From a purely song perspective, I still don't like it at all. I think it's terrible. My Lord. Video though, the video is nice. Not
is
bad.
It? Not
bad considering it's shot in his house.
Well, no, I mean I think it's too nice for what it's trying to do. The idea that you would do a diss track based on this 9 out of 10 in the dunk contest is not at all interesting to me. That's funny to me, if anything else. Just that this would get on your nerves to this point is quite amazing.
I want to do a diss track now called "Why Would You Do That?"
Well, D Wade basically says like I gave you. He said I just said why don't you go ahead and why don't you go ahead and trademark that? Here's an idea that I give you for free. Go ahead and do that since I'm in your head so much. Now, what is more interesting to me than anything else, though? That is very interesting. That is very interesting. But what's more interesting to me, CJ, is the tweet from Memphis Grizzlies forward Justice Winslow just moments ago, about 30 minutes ago, in fact, who tweets out, "They should have let me write the diss track. I got all the dirt on bro, and I know how to get in his head."
If John Morant doesn't quote tweet it, I don't really care because it's got to be endorsed by a superstar.
Now this just got way more interesting. Now, I thought Justice and Dwayne were cool.
I think they are. I think he's just teasing them. I would think
so.
I would think he's just picking at him.
It doesn't seem like picking at.
Was there any emojis after this Justice
Winslow? No, this is just
straight
pure.
face.
This is pure We got no capitalization. Oh well, no, and there's a little capitalization, but they should have let me write the diss track. Period. I got all the dirt on bro. Period. And I know how to get in his head. No period. Just that's it. I'm not sure who they is. Like the man who the Aaron Gordon representation who was not letting. What's stopping him from writing a diss track? He's got all the time in the world right now.
I don't know. I thought
I didn't realize that there was. I didn't realize that there was beef here.
I don't think that again until I see more. I don't think there is beef. I don't know, but I think these are two guys who like one another. I would.
Do they?
I thought they did. I mean, I don't know.
See, that's what I mean. Like now this is much more interesting. Like the diss track of like you didn't properly give me the score. Come on, I mean and Aaron Gordon. And here's the other thing. I'm irritated with Aaron Gordon just in general because Aaron Gordon has been like he's such a tease as a player. He's supposed to be a lot better than he is. Like he's good. Like he's a good player. He's definitely good, solid NBA player. Like you would, if he's your third guy, you're probably pretty good. But he wants and he thinks he's a number one guy, and he's not even a number two guy. And he should. He has the skill level to be the number. He has great athletic ability. He has all that stuff. So that's the part that's frustrating. And a guy like that, whether there's justification or not, to fire up a diss track on Dwayne Wade, who's done quite a bit in the league. Come on, man, get out of here.
I'm here for diss tracks. I don't care. Punch up. Let's do it.
I guess.
Just make them
good.
You gotta make them good. It can't be this.
I mean,
this
what you want me to you want me to roll out a diss track on
Go get Eminem. It's been a while since we heard from him.
I mean,
right?
yeah,
do Eminem diss track. Yes.
You want me just I'm not qualified for that. That doesn't make any, I can't handle that. I mean, Aaron Gordon is like going after. It's like, I mean, do you see, like a diss track coming out from like, I don't know, Judd Bushler on like Michael Jordan? Like, yeah, I knew you back then. I knew you the real MJ. Like, everybody like, shut up. Like, what are you talking about?
I like those though. I like those.
You like dumb diss tracks?
Yes, very much so.
I don't think there's a lot of self-awareness here is what I'm saying.
No, there's not. There can't be. I enjoyed Meek Mill going after Drake. Like, that was fun to me. And then Drake bodying him was also fun. Dwayne Wade's got to drop a track now. Basically what I'm saying, Peter, is Dwayne Wade's got to get on the mic and drop a response track back.
Why? Why do you have to respond to that? Like because
that's what we do in this diss track culture.
If
But First off, Eminem is not the right one to use. Eminem will go. Yeah, Peter, if you drop the diss track right now, Eminem would come back with a track for you.
Within 15 minutes, it would be unbelievable.
Eminem's got a diss track bar for everybody in this country, man. He's ready for it. So don't use Eminem because Eminem will definitely come back. He and Machine Gun Kelly got into it last year.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I'm saying. But what if I'm talking about just from a basketball standpoint? I mean, let's say like I don't know. Dante Exum with a diss track on like Chris Paul. Like why? Like what are we doing here? Like
Chris Paul got to come back and hit him with that heat, man. Otherwise,
no, he doesn't. He's like
some tough cred.
Who's this kid? Like what are we talking about? Like why do you even? To me, you lose cred if you acknowledge it. Like I mean, D Wade's already like dismissed it on Twitter this morning. Is like, come on, dude. What I want to see is Justice Winslow. Let's get into this. That's real beef that can sustain us in these tough times. That's real beef right there. That's all beef. Get out and let's do it.
That's that grade A beef.
That's that high quality.
I'm just thinking about some Eminem. He is the king of this beef stuff. You remember The Source? You ever heard of The Source?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. All right, because I have no clue who's in The Source. But Eminem got into it with The Source. That's what it is, man. Whenever somebody drops a track, you gotta have a verse for him.
I mean,
at least fine. A verse, Peter.
It's fine. I mean, it's fine if he wants to do it. It's fine. I don't think he even needs to like go to that level. You know, I like you don't see like Davis Bertans out here dropping diss tracks on other. It's like why would I even like pay attention to that? Like what does it even matter? I feel like you haven't even earned. You have to get on a certain level of respect to even like be responded to. It's not even worth anyone's time. But Aaron Gordon, come on, man, you can't drop in a diss. What are we doing out here against Dwayne Wade? Dwayne Wade's there's some people who don't like Dwayne Wade. I'll be honest with you, but like I mean, for the most part, he's certainly a well respected, well thought of, excellent Hall of Fame level player. I mean, what Aaron Gordon is not. To the extent that Aaron Gordon is thought of, it's generally as kind of a disappointment. And I'm not sure that he's even really thought of very much.
I mean, if he had won that dunk contest, Pete, let's be real, the perception of him would have been different.
I get. Would it? No, it wouldn't. What are you talking about? No, it would have been exactly the same.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, Eminem and Nick Cannon got into it. Eminem beats with anybody. Yeah, like that. That's moral of the story. Don't say anything bad about him because he's got a bar for you.
I don't want any part of it. I have nothing bad to say about Eminem. I do not wish to have bars put against me. I don't appreciate that. I wouldn't want that. So even if it was bars as mediocre as Aaron Gordon's, I wouldn't want that. That's just not me. I want this Justice Winslow diss track though. That's what I want. And he's got time to do it. So let's go ahead and have him knock this thing out. That'd be great. We'd appreciate that. When we come back, we'll continue with that. We'll talk a little bit about the Tiger basketball situation and how it looked like it might change, and then it's not changing, and now we'll see where things are when we return here. Peter and CJ with you, Sports 56 Mornings on a Monday. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 96.1 FM, or 87.7 FM.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. Do you have any idea why I never speak the way I am right now? It's because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you do not need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get a customer's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or buy their products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. Fiveash Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service possible and do it at a fair price, why would I need gimmicks to sell it? Best products, best warranties, and best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fiveash Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We're all in uncharted territory, looking for ways to support our communities. At Dell Technologies, we're making sure small businesses have the right tech solutions. Dell Technologies advisors are here for you, from helping small businesses stay connected and productive while working remotely with Windows 10 and Microsoft Teams, to rapidly deploying remote work solutions that limit upfront costs with Dell Financial Services. We're standing by you every step of the way. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Commitment, dedication, perseverance. At FedEx, our people are our strength. Even during these unprecedented times, we are delivering medical supplies, test kits, and the things you need every day. Helping the world move forward together. Strength, what we deliver by delivering. FedEx.
Sports 56 would like to recognize local businesses that are out there still feeding and providing for the community via curbside pickup. Let's support local business with your business. These local businesses include Central Barbecue, Sunrise, Sweetgrass, Humdingers, Germantown Commissary, Jason's Deli, Corky's, East Coast Wings, Moe's, and Soulfish Cafe. Sports 56 appreciates the support of local businesses always, but especially during this time. Thank you.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and CJ Hurt. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Peter and CJ.
I like this. This is very funky disco. I didn't realize we got disco-y and funky kind of all like this.
Oh, yeah, disco and funk are related. They're like first cousins, man.
They are, but man, this is nice right here.
Little Bootsy Collins, body slam, yeah.
One of my, one of the great pictures that I have lost, sadly, is me and Bootsy Collins backstage at FedEx Forum. I got to hang out with the Bootzilla for a little bit. Good dude. Good dude. As you would expect. If anyone could party like Dennis Rodman, it would be Bootsy.
It would be Bootsy. Bootsy Collins.
I think Bootsy could certainly give Dennis a run for his money. Not only in partying, but just in general comportment, attire, that kind of thing. I think Bootsy and Dennis have a lot in common. I think they would have been. I hope they've at some point. I hope they've been able to hang out and see each other, because I think they'd get along famously. We're talking obviously. We talked about NFL draft. We talked a lot of NBA stuff. We talked to what's been an interesting morning over the weekend. There was some discussion, CJ, about the Tigers' latest acquisition on the basketball side, Landers Nolley II, who is transferring over from Virginia Tech. Initially, he had said that he was going to test the NBA draft waters. The deadline was yesterday to put yourself into the mix for the NBA draft. He's decided, though, that is not going to be the case. He posted a graphic yesterday with a statement reading, "After much discussion with my family and coaches, I have decided to enter my name into the draft." Then he deleted them not too long after that. So it still remains to be seen about whether or not I assume he's not going to go to the NBA draft. It still remains to be seen, though, whether he's even going to be able to play for the University of Memphis, because there is a vote that is scheduled for the blanket one-time transfer waiver that has been on the table. That vote is going to be was scheduled for May 20th, and it may be pushed back a little bit. And if that's the case, then that doesn't look good for the potential for any kind of a transfer to happen this year. At this point now, it still seems as though the wind is starting to blow against the rule being put in place for this coming season, which would then put players like him in limbo. I know it is something that they've talked about doing and want to do, but as to actually doing it, that still is up in the air. So kind of weird, CJ, how it's there. And it's he would be a nice pickup, and certainly the Tigers need some talent, no doubt about it. But I don't know. Even though he's not going to be in the NBA draft, I don't know if he's going to be able to play next year.
Yeah, it was looking like at one point in time last week, maybe midweek last week, late last week, people were really confident that the NCAA was going to pass that one-time transfer rule. And what a difference a weekend makes, because now it's not looking like that is going to be the case, and the Tigers really could use anybody. Honestly, somebody that big and that athletic who can play the wing for you and maybe even play a small ball four. Like, you could use that. And the Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers as a basketball program really could use that type of player. It just sucks that we don't know, and it's not looking like the NCAA is going to be willing to grant that one-time waiver.
Well, that's the thing, is it doesn't you don't know. It was supposed to happen May 20th. It still could, but it could also be pushed until January. They don't know for sure exactly what's going to happen. Obviously, if it's pushed back to January, then that would eliminate any possibility that it would be something for this season. So that as per usual with the NCAA, everything is somewhat up in the air. The NCAA has also denied the blanket request to lower the amount of sports that you have to play in order to consider yourself a Division I school. That is something that they have not allowed to change. It's still 16 sports that you have to do. They are going to take a look at this on a case-by-case basis. FBS schools have to have at least 16 teams in order to be a Division I school. The request was across the board to just go ahead and knock that down. They said that that's not going to happen. The initial request would have kind of it would be over a 4-year period where this would happen, and then they would have to take it back up at that point. It's going to be considered on a case-by-case basis, though, so it may still be that certain schools in certain areas that are particularly hard hit may have the opportunity to still be D1 in spite of not sponsoring 16 sports, but that's not going to happen across the board. I think, CJ, the NCAA is particularly ill-equipped to deal with something like this because they have so much of a bureaucracy and a lack of flexibility in their decision-making. It's so hard for them to make any changes that when stuff like this happens, I mean, you're talking about an organization that had to make special rules to allow a guy like Trevor Lawrence to put a GoFundMe up to help, COVID-19 victims. That had to have special waivers for, players like the Memphis's players had their dorms burned down, and people wanted to give them money to help them rebuild and to get their stuff back. They had to have special dispensation for so they're just not well equipped at all. When an emergency like this happens, that's going to change the entire face of sports as we know it. They got absolutely no chance to get it right.
No, and this when the NCAA says case-by-case basis, that makes me real uncomfortable because we've seen the NCAA arbitrarily hand out justice and verdicts and things of that nature. I'm trying to remember the kid's name who wanted to transfer from North Carolina to Virginia Tech or transfer from somewhere to Virginia Tech because his mom was going through like chemo, brain cancer, and wanted to be closer. And they're like, nah, we're not going to let you do that and get immediate eligibility because like you're outside of our radius. You're outside of the 200-mile radius. And so it's just I'm with you. I don't trust the NCAA to be able to make these types of decisions accurately or with the best interests of the student athletes in mind at all.
There's no question. That's why I think it's just ultimately you can't handle it. And the discussion that folks like Mike Oresco and others have had over the weekend and over the last few days about can you bring back college football, for example, without bringing back kids to the college? Like, you're going to have distance learning, but can you also then bring back college football even if the kids aren't on campus? Now, I don't know how you feel about that. I don't know if you guys talked about that last week, but to me, that's very silly. Like, that would be the ultimate admission and giving up of the game where you say, yeah, obviously this is a completely separate entity to college as a whole. And obviously this is not any kind of a supplement to somebody's legitimate collegiate education. This is just us wanting to make some money. Because you can't justify it otherwise. I don't care that people have remote learning or anything else. If you don't have kids on campus, if you don't have college students on a college campus, you cannot then tell me that you can have amateur athletes going out there and risking their health and everything else to go and play for what? For what purpose are we even doing it? It doesn't make any sense. They couldn't even go to school on campus because they wouldn't allow that. So they have to do distance learning from campus to it doesn't even, as a logical thing, it doesn't pass any kind of a smell test at all. So I think we're about to see some real silly stuff happen.
If you are on campus right now, you're probably like a custodial or maintenance person who's getting paid, or a dean or professor, a teacher of some sort who is also getting paid, maybe security officer who's getting paid. If all of those types of people are on campus, and then the football team is on campus and no other students are on campus, like it just doesn't make sense. You're right. You're trying to do – you can't do enough mental gymnastics to get out of the we should be paying players, paying these student athletes money. You're just not going to be able to do those leaps and turn those cartwheels, because then it only makes sense then for them to be paid if that is an activity that has to go on so your university can continue to make money.
I mean, we got a lot of mental gymnastics and mental hurdles and everything else that's going on right now. As enough of those as we speak, anyway, CJ. So, but that would just add to it on top of everything else. So, we'll see. But that's going to be no doubt a point of discussion. Many thanks to your dad for joining us. Many thanks to Omari Sankofa as well, who joined us from up in beautiful Detroit.
Beautiful?
I'm sure it's beautiful. Some parts of it.
Okay.
Right?
Let me stop.
Everything's beautiful, CJ.
Eminem is from there. He might drop
a
verse on
exactly.
Yes.
You're about to get on the wrong end of one of these.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you don't want to be on the wrong end of this thing. I'm sure it's beautiful. Everything's beautiful in its own way. There's a great song about that. You might want to listen to that someday. When we come back tomorrow, boy, we got a lot more to get into. I hope we will find a resolution to CJ's toilet paper dilemma. I can't.
I'm going to go get it right now, baby.
I can't. I'm so happy for you and for your backside. It's very, very happy. Happy days are here again. Greg Gass coming up next with Sports 56 at middays. Y'all continue to stay safe out there. We'll talk to you again in the morning.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
O'Reilly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts for our spring break deals on lawn and garden batteries, wiper blades, brake kits, and more. Kick off the season right with fresh batteries for your lawn gear. For a limited time, purchase any Superstart lawn and garden battery and get a $10 gift card after mail-in rebate. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.